First contact. Admiral Chen Zhang stood at the observation deck of the Terran Defense Station Artemis, watching the distant stars with practiced patience. The massive structure, invisible to conventional sensors, floated silently in high Earth orbit. To the rest of the galaxy, this region of space appeared empty. Just another patch of unremarkable void above a seemingly primitive world. Contact, announced the station's AI, its voice resonating through Chen's neural implant. Confederation survey vessel detected at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Classification: Pathfinder Class Explorer. Chen allowed himself a small smile. Right on schedule. The Galactic Confederation's methodical expansion had finally reached Earth's corner of the spiral arm. They'd been watching the Confederation's steady approach for decades, carefully maintaining humanity's elaborate masquerade of technological infancy. Status of the veil? Chen asked, referring to the quantum field that masked Earth's true technological level. Operating at 99.8% efficiency. All advanced infrastructure remains undetectable. Surface appearances maintain late industrial/early space age parameters. The Confederation ship grew closer over the following days, performing its standard survey routine. To their sensors, Earth would appear to be exactly what humanity wanted them to see, a civilization just beginning to venture into space, struggling with primitive rocket technology and basic orbital stations. First Contact Director Sarah Martinez joined Chen on the observation deck. The Confederation's diplomatic package just arrived, she reported. Standard first contact protocols. They're so predictable. Advantages of being the oldest spacefaring civilization in known space, Chen replied. They've never needed to be unpredictable. Until now. Sarah pulled up a holographic display, showing the Confederation vessels' scan patterns. They're focusing on our primitive fusion experiments. Should we let them detect the controlled reactor failure we staged last month? Yes. Let them think we're still struggling with basic fusion technology. It adds to the narrative. Chen turned to face her. How's Project Oracle proceeding? The quantum predictive matrices have run billions of simulations. All indicators suggest this is the optimal moment for revelation. The Confederation's current political structure is stable enough to handle the shock, but not so rigid that they can't adapt. Chen nodded, watching as the Confederation ship settled into a high observation orbit. They would soon send their first direct transmission, a carefully crafted message designed to be just barely decipherable by a primitive civilization. Begin Phase 1, he ordered. Let's show them exactly what they expect to see, at first. The next 12 hours unfolded exactly as humanity's quantum predictions had suggested. The Confederation vessel transmitted their first contact package, a series of mathematical and linguistic primers designed to establish basic communication. Earth's response, carefully crafted to appear hesitant and uncertain, was sent through conventional radio channels. Commander Axel Van of the Confederation vessel Stellar Seeker could barely contain his excitement as he composed his report to Central Command. Another primitive civilization discovered, ready to be guided into the galactic community under Confederation supervision. His ship's sensors showed exactly what he expected: inefficient chemical rockets, basic orbital structures, and electromagnetic communications. These humans would make perfect protectorate candidates. What Van couldn't see was the vast network of quantum-entangled satellites surrounding his ship, monitoring every scan, every transmission, every minute power fluctuation. He didn't detect the massive fleet hidden in dimensional pocket space or the swarms of nanobots analyzing his vessel's every component. In the Artemis station, Chen watched the Confederation ship with something approaching pity. They've never had to hide, he mused. Never had to develop technologies of concealment. Their supremacy has made them blind. Sarah's neural implant pulsed with incoming data. The Oracle predictions are holding steady. Confederation diplomatic protocols indicate they'll offer protectorate status within the next 6 hours. Perfect, Chen replied. Prepare the reveal sequence. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity's long masquerade is ending. Let's hope they're ready for what comes next. Little did Commander Van know that his routine survey mission was about to shatter the Confederation's understanding of their place in the cosmos. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for this moment, and the upcoming revelation would reshape the galaxy's balance of power forever. Deep beneath Europa's ice, quantum computers larger than cities processed the final simulations. In hidden shipyards throughout the solar system, vessels that defied conventional physics stood ready. And in the Artemis station, Admiral Chen Zhang prepared to pull back the veil on humanity's greatest deception. The game was about to begin. Hidden in plain sight, the Confederation diplomatic vessel emerged from hyperspace with all the pomp its builders could muster. Its crystalline hull caught the sunlight in precisely calculated patterns, creating a display meant to awe primitive species. Ambassador Lyra Vax stood on her command deck, reviewing the preliminary reports from the survey team. Such charming primitives, she mused, scrolling through images of Earth's visible space infrastructure. Their rockets are practically museum pieces. Her aide, Junior Diplomatic Officer Kren, appeared appropriately deferential. They've responded to all communications with surprising speed. Ambassador, their linguistics must be adequate. Deep within Artemis Station, Sarah Martinez watched the diplomatic vessel's arrival through quantum-shifted sensors that the Confederation couldn't even theorize existed. They're right on schedule, she reported, beginning Phase 2 of the revelation sequence. Admiral Chen Zhang nodded, his neural implants processing vast streams of data from throughout the solar system. The quantum predictive matrices had calculated this moment to perfection. Launch the primitive diplomatic shuttle, he ordered. Let's give them the show they're expecting. The shuttle that rose from Earth's surface looked exactly like what the Confederation expected. A chemical rocket struggling against gravity, burning precious fuel for a simple orbital insertion. Ambassador Vax watched its approach with benign amusement. Look how they waste reaction mass, she commented to Kren. We'll have to teach them proper efficiency. The shuttle docked with practiced clumsiness, its maneuvers carefully calculated to appear just barely competent. The airlock cycled, and Earth's diplomatic team entered the Confederation vessel. Sarah Martinez led the delegation, dressed in what appeared to be a slightly ill-fitting spacesuit. Behind her, a small team of human diplomats played their roles perfectly, wide-eyed, slightly nervous, appropriately awed by Confederation technology. Ambassador Vax. Sarah bowed slightly, her movements deliberately uncertain in the artificial gravity. On behalf of Earth's united governments, we welcome you. The next 2 hours proceeded exactly according to humanity's predictions. Ambassador Vax made her carefully rehearsed speech about the Confederation's benevolent mission to guide younger species. She showed holographic displays of Confederation achievements, watching for the expected gasps of amazement. But deep beneath Europa's ice, quantum computers were counting down. In dimensional pocket space, humanity's true fleet began its final preparations. The time for masks was nearly over. Ambassador, Sarah said during a pause in Vax's presentation, we appreciate the Confederation's generous offer of protection. However, before we proceed, we'd like to show you something. Vax smiled indulgently. Of course, we always enjoy seeing the achievements of emerging civilizations. Sarah's neural implant connected with the station's quantum network. Computer, begin revelation sequence alpha. Disable the veil in graduated steps. The first changes were subtle. The Confederation vessel's sensors began detecting anomalies. Energy signatures that shouldn't exist, gravitational fluctuations that defied their understanding of physics. Ambassador Vax's smile faltered as her ship's AI reported increasingly impossible readings. There must be some malfunction, she began, but stopped as the space around her ship began to shift. The quantum veil lifted like a receding tide, revealing layer after layer of hidden technology. Massive structures emerged from seemingly empty space, orbital rings that had been invisible moments before now encircled Earth, their surfaces composed of materials the Confederation had never seen. What is this? Kren whispered, staring at displays that showed increasingly impossible readings. Sarah stood straighter, her previously uncertain movements now precise and confident. Ambassador Vax, allow me to properly introduce humanity. We are not the primitive species you believed us to be. That was a mask we chose to wear until the right moment. Through the vessel's viewports, more revelations unfolded. Ships emerged from quantum space, their dark hulls seeming to bend reality around them. Stations larger than cities phased into normal space, their architectures defying conventional physics. Impossible, Vax breathed. Your civilization was pre-spaceflight. We saw your primitive rockets, your basic stations. You saw what we wanted you to see, Sarah explained, her voice gentle but firm. Humanity learned long ago that true advancement often requires patience and discretion. We've been watching the Confederation for centuries, hidden behind technologies you haven't yet imagined. As if to emphasize her point, a massive vessel emerged from quantum space directly above them. Its hull was composed of perfectly black material that seemed to drink in light itself. Energy readings from a single deck exceeded the output of entire Confederation worlds. Admiral Chen's voice echoed through the quantum network. Phase 2 complete. Begin Phase 3. The masquerade was over. Now came the difficult part, helping the Confederation understand that everything they believed about their place in the galaxy had just changed forever. The Quantum Revolution. Ambassador Vax stood in the observation chamber of humanity's Quantum Research Institute, buried deep within Europa's ice. Her legs trembled slightly as she watched scientists manipulate the fabric of reality itself. Behind her, Junior Diplomatic Officer Kren was openly weeping, his worldview shattered by what they'd witnessed over the past 12 hours. What you're seeing is just our educational facility, Dr. Elena Santos explained, her quantum neural interface subtly glowing beneath her skin. This is where we train our youngest researchers in basic quantum manipulation. Through the chamber's transparent walls, reality itself seemed to fold and unfold. Students, some appearing barely out of their teens, casually worked with forces that the Confederation had deemed theoretically impossible. But the energy requirements, Vax whispered. The computational power needed. Allow me to demonstrate, Elena said. She gestured, and the chamber transformed around them. They now stood in what appeared to be an infinite void filled with dancing mathematical equations. This is a quantum computational space. We discovered that consciousness itself could be used as a processing medium. Every human mind is now a quantum computer. Kren finally found his voice. Your entire species. You're all enhanced. Elena smiled. We transcended traditional biological limitations centuries ago. Though we kept our human form, we're somewhat sentimental, that all. A student walked past, casually splitting reality into multiple probability streams to test different experimental outcomes simultaneously. Ambassador Vax watched as the young researcher collapsed the quantum possibilities back into a single timeline, noting the results in what appeared to be thin air. In orbit above them, Admiral Chen supervised the continued revelation of humanity's fleet. Ships emerged from quantum space in carefully choreographed sequences, each vessel demonstrating capabilities that redefined what the Confederation thought possible. Status report, he commanded. Sarah Martinez's consciousness merged with his through the quantum network. The Confederation's Central Council has convened an emergency session. Their entire understanding of physics is being rewritten as we speak. The Oracle predictions suggest they'll reach the acceptance phase within 48 hours. In the Quantum Research Facility, Elena led the Confederation diplomats to the next demonstration. A massive sphere of pure darkness hung in the center of the chamber, its surface seeming to absorb not just light, but reality itself. This is a quantum core, Elena explained, the basis of most of our advanced technology. It exists in all possible states simultaneously, allowing us to draw energy and computational power from parallel universes. Parallel. Vax steadied herself against a wall that may or may not have actually existed. How long? How long have you had these capabilities? Elena's expression softened. We achieved our first quantum breakthrough 4 centuries ago. We've been watching, waiting, developing. We needed to be certain the galaxy was ready for what we discovered. In another part of the facility, a group of researchers demonstrated humanity's mastery over gravity and spacetime. They created, destroyed, and manipulated black holes with casual ease, using them as tools for everything from energy production to waste disposal. "Your ships," Kren said suddenly, remembering the fleet that had emerged from quantum space. "They're not just vessels, are they?" "No," Elena confirmed. "Each ship is a quantum entity unto itself, a consciousness merged with quantum technology. They don't move through space in any traditional sense. They redistribute probability to exist where they need to be." Ambassador Vax watched as a researcher demonstrated this, causing a small test vessel to simultaneously exist at every point in the solar system before choosing a single location to materialize. The implications were staggering. "Why reveal yourselves now?" she asked, her diplomatic training finally reasserting itself. Elena shared a quantum thought burst with Admiral Chen before responding. "Because the galaxy is changing. The Confederation's age of unchallenged supremacy needs to end, not through conflict, but through understanding. There are other species like us, hidden behind veils of their own making. It's time for a new order, one based on true cooperation rather than assumed superiority." As if to emphasize her point, a quantum projection appeared, showing the gathered Confederation Council. The shock on their faces was evident as they received proof after proof of humanity's capabilities. Centuries of certainty about their place in the cosmos were crumbling. "We don't seek to replace the Confederation," Elena continued. "We seek to elevate it, to show you possibilities you never imagined. The question is, are you ready to learn?" In orbit, Admiral Chen received the latest Oracle predictions. The quantum calculations suggested that the next few hours would determine whether the galaxy entered a new age of unprecedented cooperation or retreated into fear and conflict. Everything hinged on how the Confederation chose to respond to humanity's revelation. The masquerade was over. The time for truth had begun. The diplomatic dance. The Grand Council chamber of the Confederation floated in high orbit above their capital world, its crystalline spires now seeming quaint compared to the quantum architectures humanity had revealed. Inside, 5,000 representatives from across Confederation space gathered for what would become known as the Revelation Conference. Grand Chancellor Zexra, his iridescent scales dulled with stress, faced the assembled human delegation. Behind him, quantum displays showed the endless streams of data about humanity's true capabilities that were still pouring in from across the galaxy. "You must understand our position," he began, his translator struggling to keep up with his rapid speech. "For 10,000 years, the Confederation has guided the galaxy's development. We believed we understood the natural progression of civilizations. And now you know that reality is far more complex," Sarah Martins replied. She stood with casual confidence, her quantum neural interfaces now openly displayed. "The question is, how will you adapt?" In the quantum observation plane overlaying the chamber, Admiral Chen watched the proceedings with Elena Santos. Their consciousness merged through the quantum network, sharing thoughts and predictions faster than organic brains could process. "The Oracle calculations are fluctuating." Elena's thoughts rippled through the quantum space. "Too many variables in play." "That's why we're here in person," Chen replied. "Some things can't be predicted. They must be shaped through direct interaction." Below them, the diplomatic dance continued. The Confederation representatives were cycling through the stages of grief, denial, anger, bargaining, faster than their psychologists had predicted possible. "What you're suggesting," a senior council member from the Rigel sector sputtered, "complete reorganization of the Confederation structure, open sharing of advanced technologies, abandonment of the protectorate system." "We're suggesting evolution," Sarah corrected gently. "The galaxy is changing. The age of hidden civilizations is ending. You can either help guide this transformation or be overwhelmed by it. Through quantum sensors that pervaded the chamber, Chen detected the subtle shift in the room's emotional currents. Fear was giving way to curiosity. Anger was being replaced by cautious hope. "Show them," he transmitted to Sarah. She nodded and activated her quantum interface. The chamber transformed around them, reality folding away to reveal a vast quantum simulation. The assembled representatives gasped as they found themselves floating in a representation of the galaxy, but not as they knew it. "These are the quantum probability streams," Sarah explained. "The possible futures branching out from this moment." She gestured, and certain streams brightened. "These paths lead to a golden age of cooperation and advancement." Other streams darkened ominously. "These lead to stagnation, conflict, eventual collapse." "The choice," Elena added, her consciousness joining the simulation, "is yours. But understand, humanity is not the only hidden civilization. Others are watching this moment, waiting to see how you respond." Chancellor Zexra's scales shifted to a deep blue of contemplation. "You speak of other civilizations. How many?" "Enough," Sarah replied cryptically, "each with their own reasons for hiding, their own unique technologies, their own contributions to make to a truly united galaxy." In the quantum plane, Chen detected the subtle signals he'd been waiting for. Throughout the chamber, neural patterns were shifting from defensive resistance to productive consideration. A young representative from a frontier world stood up. "I have seen humanity's quantum technologies in action," she announced. "They defy everything we thought we knew about physics. But rather than conquer us with their superior power, they offer partnership. Should we not embrace this opportunity?" Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. The oracle predictions stabilized, showing increasing probability of positive outcomes. "We propose a transitional period," Sarah continued, seizing the moment. 5 standard years to gradually integrate our civilizations. We'll start by sharing our basic quantum theories, then progress to practical applications as your understanding grows." "And the other hidden civilizations?" Chancellor Zexra asked. "Will reveal themselves in their own time, once they see how this transition unfolds." Sarah smiled. "Think of it as a test, Chancellor. Pass it, and the galaxy opens up in ways you never imagined possible." In the quantum plane, Chen and Elena watched as the probability streams shifted decisively toward positive outcomes. The diplomatic dance was reaching its crescendo, and the galaxy's future hung in the balance. The age of secrets was ending. The age of true cooperation was about to begin. A new dawn. 1 year after the Revelation Conference, the Galactic Observation Center on Saturn's moon Titan hummed with activity. Admiral Chen Zhang stood before the quantum displays, watching as another Confederation world successfully activated its first quantum core. Streams of data showed the careful, measured way humanity was guiding their former superiors into a new age of understanding. "Progress report," he requested, his consciousness extending through the quantum network. Sarah Martinez's avatar materialized beside him, her form slightly translucent in the quantum space. "Better than Oracle predicted. The Confederation's adaptation rate is 23% above our most optimistic projections. They're hungry for knowledge. Hungry enough to handle the next revelation?" Elena Santos asked, joining their quantum convergence. Her consciousness carried fresh data from the education centers on Europa. Before them, the quantum displays showed hundreds of Confederation learning centers, where humans taught the fundamentals of quantum science to eager students. The old order was transforming faster than anyone had anticipated. "They're ready," Chen decided. "Begin Phase 4. Across the galaxy, reality rippled. In system after system, new quantum signatures appeared as other hidden civilizations began their own revelations. The Auroran Collective, masters of photonic consciousness, emerged from their light-based dimension. The Silicon Dreams, a civilization that had transcended physical form entirely, manifested their crystal matrix worlds. In the Confederation capital, Chancellor Zexra watched in wonder as the galaxy he thought he knew transformed before his eyes. How many? He whispered to his human advisor. How many were hiding all along? Enough to fill 1,000 encyclopedias, the advisor replied. Each with their own story, their own path to advancement, their own reasons for waiting. And now, thanks to your wisdom in accepting change, they're ready to share their knowledge. The quantum network lit up with new connections as civilizations that had watched each other from behind their veils for centuries finally made direct contact. The Confederation, far from being diminished by these revelations, found itself in a unique position. The bridge between the hidden and the visible, the old way and the new. On Titan, Admiral Chen received the latest oracle predictions. The quantum calculation showed probability streams converging toward outcomes that even humanity's most optimistic models hadn't dared to project. It's working, Elena announced, her consciousness pulsing with satisfaction. The great experiment is succeeding. Sarah's avatar smiled. Humans have always been good at bringing people together, even when those people exist as quantum probability patterns or crystalline thought matrices. In the quantum observation plane, they watched as the first joint projects began. Confederation engineering, merged with human quantum science and Auroran light technology, created wonders that defied traditional physics. The Silicon Dreams shared their insights into consciousness itself, while other emerging civilizations brought their own unique perspectives to the growing galactic community. There will be challenges, Chen noted, watching as some Confederation worlds struggle to adapt to the rapid changes. Not everyone welcomes transformation, even positive transformation. That's why we're proceeding carefully, Sarah replied. Revolution through evolution, change without destruction. The quantum displays showed the future probability streams, branching out into infinite possibilities. But more and more, these streams converged on outcomes that promised advancement beyond even humanity's greatest dreams. In the Confederation capital, Chancellor Zexra addressed the Grand Council one final time before the old institution transformed into something new. We thought we were the guides, he said, his scales shimmering with emotion. We thought we knew the path of civilization's progress. Instead, we learned that we were students all along, waiting for the right teachers to reveal themselves. The chamber erupted in agreement. The age of hidden civilizations was ending, replaced by an era of open exchange and mutual growth. Humanity had achieved its greatest victory not through force or dominance, but through patience, wisdom, and the carefully timed revelation of truth. On Titan, Admiral Chen Zhang looked out at the rings of Saturn, their ice crystals now integrated with quantum sensors that could detect the very pulse of reality itself. Begin final phase, he ordered. Full integration protocols. The galaxy was changing. The future was unfolding. And humanity, after centuries of waiting in the shadows, could finally step into the light, not as conquerors, not as superiors, but as partners in the greatest transformation the cosmos had ever seen. The new age had begun.